Good evening. I call the City Council Finance Committee on November 12th, 2024, 5:30 to order. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes. Deputy Mayor Hammond,
Present.
Councilor Sullivan,
Present.
Councilor Horn,
Here.
Councilor Fitzpatrick, Councilor Turner,
Excuse absence.
okay, and Councilor Walker,
Present.
and Mayor Callahan.
Present, we have a quorum. Acceptance of the minutes from October 8th, 2024.
So move. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes carry. Public input, I see no one here, so move over to unfinished business. There's none. New business is opera surplus from Public Works for about $48,000. I'll turn it over to Director Sullivan to explain that.
So the Department of Public Works had a ARPA allocation for a water pipe relining project, which they ended up not doing the full scope of that original appropriation, which was 1.5 million, because they really didn't need to. So most of that money was moved off to a second water project. It was for a booster substation. So they did their recent reconciliation, and they informed me that of the original project, there was a $43,856.33 encumbrance that they realized they no longer need and will not be spending. So this is an opportunity to take that $43,000 and reallocate it to another ARPA project. I've made a recommendation to reallocate the ARPA funding to the Nancy Loud School Park. And the reason why I'm making that recommendation is the park is involving a little bit more site work than originally anticipated, and we're looking at doing some additional work in the parking lot area. So to have these extra funds allocated to that project is probably a good idea. And it's a project that is already approved with ARPA funding, and we're working to get that project under contract with a developer for design engineering and a contractor to actually do the playground installation work.
Thank you. We're looking for a motion to accept the opera surplus funds and apply it to the Nancy Loud Park in amount of $43,856.33.
So move. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Any questions for Mr. Sullivan? Yes,
I
Mr.
have a discussion, Mr. Mayor. In regards to these fundings, is any of them available to go to fix the clock on top of the Methodist Church? I ask that because that's one of the largest symbols of Rochester. You see it from all locations. And I'm just wondering, we're passing this money, if there's money for that, instead of giving it to the...
Two issues with that. The money has to be spent on a project. Jump in, Director, if I get this
No, I
wrong.
was just going to comment, all of our ARPA funding is now committed to projects, and we're looking to execute contracts to get them obligated by 12/31/2024. So right now, this is the only little piece of surplus that just came up. We had previously adopted some other surplus of about $400,000 a month or so ago. And this just popped up from a reconciliation that DPW did, but there is no additional ARPA monies left that are not allocated, if that's a better way to explain it.
And if I've also add that it has to be for projects that are ready. That's still in the design phase. And the planning department is working closely with that committee that's overseeing the restoration of the steeple. And they are looking for some grants, and hopefully the end of November or December this year, they'll know if they get any grants. But the city is working closely with them. And just the top of my head, I don't think that would probably apply since it's a religious building.
Yeah, we'd have to go through the whole process of seeing if a clock on a church steeple would even qualify for use of ARPA funding. We're kind of late down the path of wrapping up our ARPA allocations and getting them obligated to research that.
Thank you. Any other, good question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing then, all those in favor of transferring $43,856.33 of opera money to the Nancy Loud Playground? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes carry. Financial reports available here, monthly reports. Any questions for the city finance director or the city manager on the finance reports?
I would just comment that the non-property tax revenues are very strong at this point in the year, 33% completed. We've already beat our interest income amount. Host fees are trending higher, motor vehicles, so it's all good news on the non-property tax revenue side.
Great. Any questions? Okay, without any objections, we adjourn the meeting. Thank you. 2024 regular city council meeting to order. You please stand. Just bow your heads for a moment, and I know Veterans Day was yesterday, but thank all our men and women in uniform who have protected ourselves overseas and in this country. Thank you. Councilor Carolian, you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Counselor Dejevois.
Present.
Counselor Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Counselor Sullivan.
Present.
Counselor Horn.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Present.
Counselor Herman.
Present.
Counselor Fontenot.
Present.
Counselor Turner is excused. Counselor Credo will be a few minutes late. Counselor Richardson.
Present.
Counselor Hammond.
Present.
Counselor Carolian.
Present.
Mayor Callahan.
Present, we have a quorum. Acceptance of the regular city council meetings, October 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes carry. Special council meeting, October 29th, 2024. Acceptance of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? The ayes carry. Communications from the city manager.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have 3 items to report out on this evening. The first is that I wanted to share that a few weeks ago, staff had the opportunity to participate in a CPR and AED training at Public Works facility, which was coordinated by the Fire Department and Human Resources. I was one of the participants, and we had a good-sized group that day of employees who earned their certifications that day, thanks to the excellent training provided by Lieutenant Morales and firefighter Booty. We have AED facilities, or AEDs in facilities across the city, and I'd like to thank those who developed and participated in the training so that we may have employees in multiple departments prepared to utilize them and provide CPR if a situation were to arise. So it was a great training I wanted to share with you tonight. The second is focusing on Nancy Loud School. Demolition is slated to start next week. And as a reminder, the neighborhood listening session is scheduled for tomorrow at 6 p.m., which will be exactly 1 year to the date from the initial neighborhood listening session that we had, coincidentally. So it's encouraging to see that in just 1 year, City Council and staff took public input and engagement on this property and gave life to that vision with both a plan and funding. And it will be exciting to gain input on those details tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And then finally, I'd like to take a moment to thank our city clerk staff and election officials and workers. Their hard work, preparation, and professionalism enabled a successful presidential election in Rochester amidst an astounding 80% citywide voter turnout. They processed 3,000 same-day voter registrations and rose to the occasion to keep the process running smoothly, and we thank them very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to second that, as I was very impressed with the staff, the volunteers, and the election workers. They were on their feet the entire time, working pretty fluidity to deal with some issues that came up. They did an excellent job. 80% of the vote. Thank you for all the voters of Rochester for showing up. Fantastic. You have 80%. Right, for the mayor's report, I have a proclamation. Whereas the government of Rochester, New Hampshire celebrates our local small businesses and contributes, in the contributions they make to our local economy and community. And whereas, according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 34.7 million small businesses in the United States. Small businesses represent 99.7% of the firms with paid employees. Small businesses are responsible for 61.1% of the net new jobs created since 1995. And small businesses employ almost 46% of the employees in the private sector in the United States. And whereas 68 cents of every dollar spent at a small business in the United States stays in the local community, and every dollar spent at small businesses creates an additional 48 cents in local business activity as a result of employees and local businesses purchasing local goods and services. And whereas 59% of the U.S. consumers aware of the Small Business Saturday shopped or ate at a small, independently owned retailer or restaurant on Small Business Saturday in 2023. And whereas the City of Rochester supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our communities. And whereas advocacy groups, as well as the public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Paul Callahan, Mayor of Rochester, New Hampshire, do hereby proclaim November 30th, 2024 as Small Business Saturday, and I urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday, celebrating its 15th year in 2024, and shop small throughout the year. Very good. And on a personal note, overwhelmed by the support, letters, communications, phone calls, emails, and texts I got from people dealing with my illness. I'm really touched by it, and my family is too. Thank you, everybody. All right, presentation, petition, there's none. Nominations, reports, codes and ordinances. Councilor DeJavois.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so 10.1.1, Chapter 7, Article 3, Boards and Commissions and Committees, Parking Commission, first reading and consideration for adoption.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes carry.
Okay, 10.1.2, amendment to Chapter 275 of the General Ordinances of the City of Rochester regarding modular housing, manufactured housing, and recreational vehicles and travel trailers. And this first reading and refer to a public hearing.
Yes, so that's the first reading, refer to public hearing. Thank you. Community Development Committee, Councilor Credo, anything you want to add?
No, we met last month. We have no updated changes. We're still waiting for the new information to come in from everybody that's applying to the CDBG for next term around, and we will get updates as that happens.
Great, thank you. Finance Committee, 10.3.1, resolution authorizing the project fund reallocation of American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA grant funds of $437,000 to the Nancy Loud School Park and Riverwalk Overlook.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes carry. Public Safety, Councilor Fontenot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we have 3 action items on tonight's agenda. The first one, 10.5.1, is in regard to some striping on the pavement near the stop signs. This is actually on River Street, near the intersection of Founds Mill Court. So there was an issue with the line of sight, cars blocking the line of sight near the intersection. So the motion is to have Public Works stripe in front of the stop sign for 30 feet, and then, if recommended by the police department, for them to do it at the other end of the street where the other opposite stop sign is. So that's the motion. That's my motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes carry.
Thank you. The second item, 10.5.2, is a recommendation for the flashing beacons at the crosswalk. This one is for Union Street, where the crosswalk from the Union Street parking lot crosses in front of the Thai restaurant. That crosswalk is going to be relocated a little bit, about 15 or 20 feet up the road, I believe. So this is not going to be installed until after the crosswalk is relocated, probably maybe in the spring, but we wanted to approve it and have it ready to go. So the motion is to approve the installation of one of those flashing beacons at that crosswalk.
Second.
Any discussion? I just have a quick question. When you say up the road, it's going to be closer to North Main or closer to?
Closer to North Main Street by about, I don't know the exact measurement, maybe 15.
Part of the reason is because it's got that divot, right?
Exactly.
You don't want wheels, okay.
Yep.
I have a
All right, yes, Councilor DeJavois.
It's not liable to change again with the upgrades to the new parking lot, is it?
No, it's going to change because of the,
Okay.
in conjunction with the upgrades at the parking lot, and so that's what we didn't want to install it now and then have to move it in the spring after the construction, so that was the plan, to have this done in conjunction with that. parking lot.
Councilor Credo.
I'll just say that the major reason why this has to be moved 10 feet is for ADA compliance reasons, because if a wheelchair or somebody were to cross at that spot, there's no spot there because the Thai restaurant has their porch coming out. So again, that's the only reason this is getting moved 10 feet.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes carry.
Thank you. And then lastly, another committee recommendation is to install another one of these flashing beacons at the crosswalk near the newly opened Cinco's Cantina. That's the crosswalk that goes, if you're from around here, from the old Ainsley Drug Store across to near the intersection of Congress Street. So that restaurant has just opened. It's a busy intersection. The main parking for that restaurant is across the street in that parking lot. And with, the change of the time of day, getting dark at 4:30 now, we felt that this was also justified to install another one of those flashing beacons at that crosswalk. So that's my motion.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes carry. Public Works, Deputy Mayor.
We have just one item, Your Honor. Committee recommends approval of the fiscal year '25 payment list. Streets to include Louise, Hale, Harry, Sampson, Quaker, Haven Hill, Bronze, and Copper.
Second.
Consideration for approval.
Okay, second by Councilor Dejoie. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes carry. New business, resolution pursuant to RSA 80.76, 2A, authorizing payment plans for certain tax deeds eligible properties. First reading, consideration for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes carry. 13.2, resolution authorizing acceptance of the VEST grants from the city of New Hampshire in the amount of $21,864.44. First reading, consideration for adoption.
Move to adopt. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes carry. 13.3, resolution authorizing the acceptance of the Governor's Commission's Alcohol Fund Grant for the screening, brief intervention, and referral to the treatment grant from the state of New Hampshire in the amount of $54,265.18. This is for our juvenile diversion program. Look for a motion.
Motion to adopt. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes carry. We have a non-meeting, and then we will not be coming back. Okay, so without any objection, I
Got a
adjourn the
roll
meeting.
call and non-meeting.
Well, technically we don't, but we will do a roll call on a non-meeting.
Counselor Dejoie.
Yes.
Counselor Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Counselor Sullivan.
Yes.
Counselor Horn.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Herman.
Yes.
Counselor Fontenot.
Yes.
Counselor Credo.
Yes.
Counselor Richardson.
Yes.
Counselor Hammond.
Yes.
Counselor Carolian.
Yes.
Mayor Callahan.
Yes. Motion carries, and we will not be coming back.